dad, Randolph Page. He is the son of a veterinarian, Dr. Benjamin Randolph Page Jr. And so, first off, tell me a little bit about what your father did.
My dad, after World War II, became a veterinarian and graduated from University of Georgia in 1952.
And how did his job play a role in your life?
Uh, his his job kind of really taught me a lot about how to care for other people, compassion, tolerance, patience. All of those things were very important because an animal cannot communicate. It can only show you either through various signs or behavioral patterns, and as a result, um, it teaches you a lot about how to deal and work with other people.
So, did you ever aspire to be in your father's profession or a profession similar in your early development because of your connection with animals?
Sure. I first had a dream when I was a young boy to be a doctor, and I always wanted to be a doctor, and it was something I really, really wanted. And I think a lot of that has to do is because of the nurturing and caring that my dad had for animals and so forth. And so he really inspired me to really have a passion uh, to care for other people who were in need.
Hmm. And did you feel that being around animals growing up helped you in your development from childhood to adulthood?
Yeah, I did. I think as I said earlier, I think animals, really not all animals are alike, and their behaviors are different, and they react to things differently, and the way they react and how you react to them um, really kind of teaches you a lot of self-discipline, and I think that really has helped me to become a better father, a better husband, and I truly believe a lot of those early onset things of being around my dad, being a vet, and working in his clinic since I was old enough to really to walk. I always worked every weekend in his office and learned a lot of things about life.
Um, do you think that all children should be exposed to animals during their early development?
Yeah, I do. I think a lot of times children have a tendency to be so self-consumed of what their needs and their wants are, and I think animals uh, in itself can give you that ability to reach out and to care and to nurture, and I think early on, uh, childhood education should definitely be a part of around animals, shall I say? And I know in a lot of classrooms nowadays you have teachers who will have like a class pet, and I think that's a great thing. That teaches everybody to come together as a community to care for one individual and or one animal, and be able to share and express themselves towards that animal. All I think is so important in developing.
Do you think that there are any downsides to being exposed to animals at an early stage in your life?
Well, not necessarily. I mentioned this in the article or in the questionnaire earlier. I don't think this is. It could be a downside, but it's also a positive, and that is an animal can't speak, right? And so because they can't talk and respond to you in a manner that you're expecting them to, that sometimes their reactions could be, in a dangerous situation, you could get bitten, scratched, or uh, taken off guard. But that also, on a positive side, kind of teaches you how to um, be respectful of your audience and the surroundings in which that audience is around, meaning an animal. If an animal is injured or hurt in the leg and you grab the leg very quickly, of course you're going to get bit and they're going to respond fast. So I think it really kind of helps you a lot to early on learn how to respond, but you have to be very careful when dealing with animals, as you have to be very careful at a very, very early age responding to little Jimmy on the playground if he took your jacket.
Mhm. Do you think that children should be exposed to animals? Uh, like, in what ways do you think they should be?
Well, I think as I mentioned earlier as an example about uh, you have teachers sometimes have a class pet. I think that's important. I think that the teacher under that supervision can instruct the children how to care and respond. And I think from there you should kind of graduate into having your own animal early on, because it's going to teach you responsibility. It's going to teach you how to care and nurture. It's going to keep you intact of what's needed, and that level of responsibility early on is so important in the development of a person, especially when they desire to be a father. And being a dad is a role that I don't take lightly, and I'm very proud of, and I respond to it, and I'm responsible. And I think a lot of that has to do early on, and that is being around animals, tending and caring for them.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.